all about supporting other people. That's what my practice has become about. And it took 6 years to really recognize that.
Richard Fortin Presents. Welcome everybody to the next episode of Richard Fortin Presents. I am here in Suite 16 studio today with a wonderful painter, educator, mother, just an incredible human being. I've known her a couple of years now personally, so I can say that with no shame. I love it. I love what she's doing. Her name is Marianne Vander Dussen. Yes. Did I say that right?
You so said it right. Thank you.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, Dussen, cruising, they rhyme.
Marianne, thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's so awesome to be here.
Yeah, I want to get into your story because I've been watching you, like I said, a couple of years since you've been in North Bay, and I've seen you evolve and grow, and I feel like blossom in front of my eyes. And I think it's really important for people to see and hear what it's taken to get there for you, right? Because from the outside it can kind of just look like it's just happened. But I'm sure that's not the case, is it?
Of course. You know what? It's so funny you say that because I authentically feel like I'm still just getting started. I really and truly believe that. I'm 33 years old, and so the idea of peaking scares me more. I don't want to be at the top right now because I want to keep growing. And so I am going to answer that question in terms of the invisible component of getting to this point, but I also want to talk a little bit about what you said in terms of blossoming and things like that. I think a lot of what I do involves cyclical nature, and so I teach, as you mentioned. I am a teacher, but I think the part that I don't get to put on my resume is I'm a learner. I love to learn. I am obsessed with it. And if I'm not learning, I feel empty. And I feel like I can't do my job as an educator. And so I feel like I'm just getting started with all of this, but part of that comes from an intense desire to continue to grow. And that is part of what my business, what my channel is all about, is personal development. And that I use art as the catalyst for that because I work with people's potential. That is what I love, is potential. And so I'm going to just sort of rewind a little bit and address your question about how I am where I am and how I got here. So I actually came to North Bay about 7.5 years ago, about that. Okay. And I wasn't an artist prior to that. I started doing art when I was in teachers college. I was 25 when I really got started again. And it was something that resonated with me. It spoke to me. And so I kept going. But I wanted to get better. And so I started going on YouTube and I started looking at tutorials. And then when people asked if I could do a commission for them, I said yes. It scared me. So a lot of this has been about saying yes to things that frightened me and building the parachute after I jumped out of the plane. So people would ask if I could do something like, can you teach an art class to 80 people? Yes. Then I would figure it out. But I didn't allow my lack of knowledge to hold me back. I figure I would say yes to the project if I felt like it was something I could really take on. And then I would figure out the details after I secured it. So I started teaching art classes actually in this building back when it was still just a school. And
well, it was being renovated. It was you came in and you said, I just need a classroom to get to work, and boom, you got to work. I was just going to say that I know you're not afraid of hard work.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I find it satisfying. I think it's very satisfying to really push yourself because part of my philosophy is we get this one precious life. That's it. That's it. And part of what I do is I work with people to recognize that because a lot of people almost want permission to be extraordinary. And you don't need anyone's permission but your own. So many people are waiting for someone else to say, you can do this, run with it. And if I need to be that person online who says that, you can do this. You can be extraordinary. You can accomplish incredible things. let me show you how to do something you didn't think you could do, namely art.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they run with it.
Yeah, and I always say that most communication isn't verbal. It's a vibe, it's an energy, it's a way of looking and being and feeling when we feel somebody. And I think that's why I admire you so much, is because you're fearless in sharing that.
I'm really scared all the time.
Okay, but then, okay, so that makes you courageous. You're courageous then.
I will accept that one, yes.
Right? You're courageous then. You're courageous enough to just get in there and do it and learn. Mm-hmm. So I'm thrilled that you say you're not just a teacher, you're a learner, because I think that is probably the most important lesson in life. Curiosity is what drives us to continue, right?
Absolutely.
How has COVID sort of challenged and supported that?
So COVID, I love the word support, because COVID actually forced me out of my comfort zone again. So prior to COVID, my Facebook page had just over 1,000 followers on it. When COVID hit, the first thing I thought, and this all stems back to a book that I read that I strongly recommend if you haven't read it yet, called The Go-Giver. It was, what can I give during this time of crisis that might help people manage and mitigate? And I remember I was on my way to campus, because I was working on campus at Nipissing at the time, and I was going to go clear out the art room because we weren't going to be able to have access to it. And I thought, gosh, I wish I could give people what it is that we're going to be missing. So I ran a free online live paint class. Just by doing that, my followers started to increase, and I started gaining access to a new audience, not just in North Bay, but beyond. And so I was like, this resonates with people. People want this right now. And so I continued, and I tripled my following in a year because of COVID, because I started thinking, how can I offer value to a wider audience using social media as my medium? And it worked, I guess.
No kidding. So it's exactly what you were saying about people not perceiving themselves to be in a box, that you want them to know that, well, you did that for yourself.
This has been a tremendous year of growth. The past month, my channel on June 2nd on YouTube had 565 subscribers. And today I'm at 1,030.
And we're recording this on June 30th.
Yes,
so that's
for
1
anyone.
month. So she
Less than
popped
a month,
1,000.
Yeah.
I was so happy. Last time I
know,
saw
I was
you,
really
we were
excited.
waiting in line at the North Star Diner, and I said, "Holy cheese, your number," because I follow you pretty closely. So I'm like, "Your numbers are going up," and you said, "I know, I'm gonna crack that 1,000."
I'm gonna do
and
it.
I checked this morning. She cracked the 1,000. So
Yeah.
if you haven't found her channel on YouTube,
Yeah.
please do.
Sure. Link is
Yeah,
below.
the link is there. We're gonna link it in the show notes and everything.
Yeah.
But it really is cool, and I have to congratulate you on the quality of content you're putting out. I think that's why it will go much above and beyond maybe even your expectations, because the quality you care about the quality.
Yeah.
And I think people sense when people are doing things really to help. The go-giver.
Yes, exactly. It's all about supporting other people. That's what my practice has become about. And it took 6 years to really recognize that. And so when you're talking about sort of the invisible background, for the first 5 years or so, it was like, oh, look at me, I can do my art, blah, blah, blah. It's not about me. And the second I realized that and changed it, that was when the magic happened. Yeah. When it's not just about, look at me making pretty things, it's how can I help you feel really good about yourself through art.
That's really cool.
Then that's when people really started to feel it, because they were getting value from it. And I think that's really what it all boils down to, is art is about vision and technical execution. That's where its value comes from. It's not just in, I think for the first little bit of my career, I was focused so much on the technical execution. I wanted things to look exactly like photographs. I wasn't so much focused on the vision. And now I'm working on a project called the Square Foot Show that is all about using a common concept and a theme to bind together 12 works. And it's resonating with people again, because there's the vision part of it there. And so it's really that marriage between having this concept and this idea and how you execute it. that's kind of the magic. That's the magic right there.
That's
so.
cool. Well, let's see if we could put a little stardust on that magic in a best way. Could you tell me a little bit about what your big vision is? Because I know you do have a big vision.
Oh, yeah.
I know you have a lot of ideas, and I would bet on you that you're going to do them.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we use this opportunity to document this moment in time that we'll get to flash back in 5 years and say, hey, do you remember when you came in the studio for the first time?
That's right. That's right.
And told us that you were going to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And you did it? That's what I bet is going to happen. So right now, I would love for you to paint us a picture of what your vision could look like in the next little bit, based on this amazing foothold you have. And I feel a good start, a very, very good start. If you feel you're at the start, you have a very good start.
I'm so at the start, yeah. So I think it's also important to preface this by saying that it could change.
Good.
It could change in a heartbeat. I don't have specifics in terms of this will happen by this date, this will happen by this date. In fact, I'm actually somewhat against the idea of smart goal planning, just because I think the more important thing is routine and consistency. And so saying I'm going to achieve X by Y doesn't always pan out, and then you always feel guilty because you feel like a failure. But in reality, what you need to be looking at is not I will achieve this number of paintings per year. It's I will dedicate 2 hours per day to my practice. That is, I think, where the
care of the
difference
minutes
is.
And the days and years take care of themselves.
Exactly. And so right now, my consistency is focused on building this channel, reaching a wider audience, and I want to focus on becoming the best teacher I can be, while recognizing that that is an ever-evolving process. So in martial arts, there's the term sifu, which is interpreted by the West as being teacher. The actual literal translation of this is the one who walked before. And so when I think about that with my practice, it's I want to be in that role where I'm the one walking before, but that also means I have my own journey and obstacles and things like that I'm going through. So to look at it within that lens of I'm sort of on my own journey while translating it and helping people who are on theirs, where I would like to see this going, I'm interested in eventually expanding into a storefront to have my own space that I could teach out of, that I can have people working out of, so that this energy that I'm able to do online can actually have a physical presence. Beautiful. I am interested, we were talking before the cameras rolled about retreats happening in North Bay, because it is such a wonderful place for that. I would eventually like to invite all of these people who I've met online all over Ontario, all over the world, to come up here and learn with me for a couple of weeks at a time, show you these places that I find inspiration from, these waterfalls, these lakes, these cliffs, everything about North Bay that makes it special. Bring that into the studio and make some magic happen and support each other through that. And so that is part of that. But where I see this going as well is that I just want to continue to grow and expand and reach more people. And I feel like if I continue to work on myself and analyze the parts of myself that could be tweaked, fine-tuned, and continue to infuse value into what it is that I'm doing, and include a storytelling component of that too, because I truly do think I am a bit of a storyteller, and that's why the channel's working, and just see where it goes. I
am so excited to see where it goes. I really am.
I am too. I don't know.
It's cool. It's cool. Well, you've got amazing energy and you're doing good. And I think that is why it's working, is because that energy translates.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just really happy to bring a little bit of attention to it. And hopefully this will help some people go find that channel and help you grow what you're growing. I really think it's great. Is there anything else before we wrap up that you think we should address, since we happen to have things rolling and we're ready to capture it here? Is there anything else that you feel is important to share right now for yourself, like in terms of your journey? I just love what you said about this trusting the process, and your that having like these targets, these outside metrics maybe aren't as important as knowing why we're doing what we're doing and trusting the process. And
being committed to it. The consistency is everything, right? Like it's like if you're working out and you're going to say, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds in a month. that is less important than saying, I'm committing myself to a healthy, active lifestyle, and every day I will spend an hour moving my body. And what happens, happens, right? Because then in the one side, you've got, like you said, this exterior metric that if you fail to meet, you will feel inadequate. And on the other hand, you have a lifestyle. And feeling good about yourself is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it takes time and dedication. And I think that people find that in art. Art involves a process called flow. And flow is where you lose yourself. That is where you lose track of time. You just feel so immersed. You're in the moment. It's like a moving meditation. Art offers that. And when you're in that state of flow, you feel good. And you come out of it like, wow, I'm exhausted, but I feel good. And I want people to feel good. Because people who feel good can move mountains. Yeah. Because they believe they can.
And we inspire each other.
Yes.
Because you feeling good sure makes me feel, I get goosebumps. I'm listening to you here and I literally get goosebumps around.
Do you honestly have any idea how much potential you have?
Yeah.
And most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't, because whether it's messaging or it's how society places value on things, most people don't recognize that they can do wonders and that they get this one precious life. And if you're waiting for someone to give you permission to be amazing, you're not going to get it. Yeah. No one's going to look at you and say, yeah, you should definitely quit your job and pursue this dream and this idea that you have in the back of your head. Go for it. I mean, maybe you have a partner or a family member who will encourage you, but they won't be that voice that says you can do this when things get hard. You have to find that. And if I can help people find that because they achieve glimpses of that inside themselves when they're working with me, I'm living the dream. Like, how else could I expect to spend this extraordinary life than helping others recognize that this is an extraordinary life and you get one. And you don't know when your time is up. A lot of people say, oh, I'll get to art when I'm retired. I'll work on this later. Do you know for a fact you're going to make it to retirement? This is a grim question, but do you know for a fact? And if you don't, how would you spend your life if you didn't know you were going to wake up tomorrow morning or not? Would you spend it doing what you're doing right now? If so, keep doing it. But if you wouldn't, change it. You have the power. So.
Marianne, we didn't even have a chance to talk about your real estate ventures, your family. We didn't have a chance to talk about so many other things that I thought we'd get to talk on. But
no, sorry.
I think I'm just going to have you back.
Yeah, I'll come back.
Okay,
I love talking about this stuff.
Because I want to hear more about it and see how this evolves, obviously.
Yeah. It's definitely a work in progress, and I am also just a supplicant to the YouTube algorithmic gods, right? Like, I got lucky with my second video. It has over 10,000 views right now. Because I hit that 10,000 mark, it's starting to tick up again because the algorithm, right? And it was luck. It was pure luck. I have other videos on there that have like 200 views on it. That's fine,
But what's the thing about preparation, hard work and preparation? You get luckier the more you
exactly.
do the
My
right
luck
things.
increases
So
the more.
this is where your message of a lifestyle, I think, is it.
Yeah.
That's
overnight success is such a myth.
Right.
Like the algorithms might pick up on that sort of thing, but it is such a myth.
But you had to put it out. It had to be good. It had to be meaningful. You had to tell a story. You had to put yourself out there. And it took 5 years of this studio and that studio and moving here and doing this.
Absolutely. And I didn't even talk about the naysayers.
Yeah.
I feel like that is important, like, as well.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, okay. So do we have time?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's
I'm taking
do it.
more time.
All right.
How do you deal with a naysayer?
Okay, so my first naysayer broke me. And I will admit that right now, that I went into a funk for about a month, 2 months, where I actually had a hard time getting out of bed. Like, it hurt me that much. And the reason it hurt me that much is because it was someone I trusted and admired who told me, I don't even want to use the exact word that they, you know what? Let's go for it. They told me I needed to fade. Yeah. I was annoying people. I needed to fade. And I know, doesn't that give you goosebumps? it wounded me.
Yeah, of course.
Because I think I think one of the reasons it wounded me is because it came from a place of genuine love. Maybe a little bit tweaked, but that person authentically felt like they were trying to help me.
Okay.
And I let it keep me down. I
Okay.
let it. And I'm saying that because I'm now in a position where I can say openly, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Like, but,
Yeah.
but at the time, it really upset me. And I've had, in the past, when I've had blogs and things like that, I've had negative comments. I've heard things in terms of like, you know, you probably shouldn't be teaching art because I don't have a BFA. Like I said, I came to this halfway through my 20s. And so it's this idea that, well, you're not qualified, therefore I don't think you should. And
So
that
how did you get
really
over it? How did you? How did you digest it finally?
So I struggled.
Yeah.
I authentically struggled for a month, 2 months to come to terms with this. And then I felt like I was at a critical juncture where I needed to make a decision whether I would accept the advice to fade or shine my light.
I know which you picked.
I'm sitting here like this
Yeah.
is kind of an obvious, but I think that regardless of what the intent was,
Taught you
it
something
was
about yourself.
it taught me something about me. It was a gift.
Yeah, that's
Naysayers can
that's the
be
problem
gifts.
with these problems we have is they end up being the gifts.
yeah.
That's the problem with these
Oh
problems.
yeah.
But it's
no,
true.
When something happens, when you endure loss, when you are confronted with this horrible event that happens in your life, it's often the greatest teacher.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to sort of redirect us a little bit to Hindu spirituality, where you've got Shiva, the destroyer. And so there's 3 gods, right? And you would know this, right?
I'm really into Shiva.
I know. So, Shiva, the god of death and destruction.
Right.
But in that world religion, we don't necessarily see Shiva being viewed as a bad thing.
No.
You need forest fires to create room for new growth. You need destruction
Right.
in order for something new to grow in its place.
Right.
And so we
So
have
you
choices.
so you have Brahma, which is creative.
Yeah.
And then you have what, Vishnu, which
Yes,
is
that's right. The
maintenance,
sustainer. Yeah.
the sustainer, and then you have Shiva that must
Yeah.
destroy and transform so
That's
that the
right.
new could come again. So
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it does this, yeah.
All cyclical, right?
All cyclical.
So it's
But
just
the
like
point
learning.
is Shiva helped you burn through some of this.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, not maybe Shiva directly
No,
per
no.
se.
what I'm saying is the idea. The
Yeah,
idea that there has to be
exactly.
some destruction
There
for the new
has
to
to
come
be.
up.
There has to be. And if you don't have someone who's telling you you shouldn't do this, I don't know, maybe you're not pushing hard enough.
Yeah. Well, thanks for pushing
Oh, yeah.
through and continuing and letting your light shine. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope other people feel, if I can offer one piece, like one key takeaway from this interview, it's you can. You can. Whatever it is, that thing you think is maybe a dream or you'll get to it later, you can.
Yeah.
Do it. Go do it.
Just do it now.
Yeah.
Listen to Marianne.
Yeah.
Go follow her channel and like and subscribe
Yeah.
and paint with her.
Yeah, it's
Listen
super
to
fun.
her stories. You won't regret it. It'll be
Oh,
great.
thank
You'll be as
you.
energizing as the way I feel right now, I'm
No,
sure.
this is a good space.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really enjoying
fun.
it. I'm
Yeah,
feeding
it's
on
fun.
it too.
Cool. Cool. It's my pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so
and I am
much.
going to have to cut it there.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to keep it a little bit condensed, but I'm
get
not
it.
kidding. I am having
Yeah.
you back.
Have me back.
I want to show any audience I can pull together what it is you're doing as you're doing it. Because I do think that people show us their true colors over time. And I know it hasn't always been easy for you or for anybody who's trying to do anything, but I've seen you over time continue and find your voice.
Consistency, yeah.
And find your voice.
That
And
just happened this year.
Yeah.
For anyone watching.
so imagine in the next 10 what you can
it's
do.
so exciting.
That's right. And then we're going to watch, and for anybody who doesn't follow Marianne yet, you do want to follow her because she has the cutest little boys that she sometimes shares the cutest stories about as well. That makes it all human.
They are the
and real.
destructors.
The beautiful energy of twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Marianne,
Thank you
I'll
so
leave it at
much.
that. And thanks for coming by. Fine. Okay, tell people, look into the camera right here. Tell everybody exactly where we want them to go follow you.
Okay, so you can follow me on YouTube. Just search for my name, Marianne Vander Dussen. Richard's going to spell it for you because it's really hard. On Instagram, also at Marianne Vander Dussen. I'm on Facebook at Marianne Vander Dussen Visual Artist. On Facebook, I also have this support group where everyone can go and just share their art and process, get some feedback, get some support. Again, if you have naysayers in your life and you want people who are going to say things to you like, you can do this, I have a whole community online. So it's called the Art Incubator with Marianne Vander Dussen, because just Art Incubator was taken. And I think that's it. My website is mariannevanderdussen.com. Yeah.
I got goosebumps.
Oh, good.
From Marianne. No, for real. They're there. I don't know if you could zoom in on that, Darren, but I got goosebumps. Thanks again.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much
Good
for
luck
having
with
me.
everything.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to
Keep
need
going.
it, but I'm going to keep going.
Good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Take care.